Barthel Garland. He talked us into selling our comfortable house in High Rock to start a new settlement here in Cyrodiil. He read something about cheap land being offered by the government. Of course, nobody said anything about the swarming goblins.
This is the story of goblin trouble in Oblivion, taking place on top of a poor refugee camp, which we, the player, can choose to aid the settlers building a better life for themselves in a previously unseen settlement in Cyrodiil, or, controversially, use the goblin's cursed item against them, fanning the flames of the Goblin War. To begin the quest, when riding on the yellow road just west across a small stone bridge crossing the Conolo River, we find a small campsite called Crestbridge Camp, which we note on our map is located southeast of the Imperial City. Nearing the camp, we overhear its inhabitants who've taken up a fierce debate on their current predicament.
I think we should just pack up and go home.
Have faith, Aloys. I'm sure my father will think of something.
Your father was the one that got us into this mess. I'm tired of you always defending him.
Try not to worry so much, dear.
Yes.
As the married couple go their separate ways, we learn more of the family's dynamic by the fire, overhearing.
How are you today?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Good. Goodbye, darling.
What is it, Barthel?
Hello. How are you?
I've been better.
Watch yourself around goblins. Some of the nastier ones will toss spells at you.
I'm running out of patience with Barthel.
Trying to further understand the undercurrent of friction between the family, we then approach Kalia, who explains.
To what do we owe this pleasure? Welcome, traveller. We're all so worried about the goblins, we may not be as hospitable as we should be.
Did you say worried about goblins? What happened?
Everything was going well. We had set up camp at Cropsford, and it looked like a beautiful spot. Then the goblins attacked. Thank Ifra that Marissa was there. Without her, the goblins would have surely killed us all.
We can now learn more about the goblins from each family member and inquire. Marissa being that Redguard archer behind you standing watch, where'd you pick her up?
My father hired her as a guide at an inn south of here. Good thing too. She saved our lives and led us safely back here after the goblin attack.
Small mercies indeed. Who's your father?
Barthel Garnard is my father. I'm worried about him. I think it'll break his heart if we can't build Cropsford.
He's looking to build something called Cropsford. Never heard of it.
It was my father's dream for us all to start a new life there. He spent everything he had to buy the land. Now it all seems to be ruined. Be seeing you.
Leaving the Breton on that sullen note, we then make our way anti-clockwise around the fire to Aloys, her imperial husband, who greets.
Hello, I hope the goblins along the Yellow Road didn't give you any trouble.
No, I haven't seen any goblins on the road, though your wife told me about them. Hell of a thing.
We had just set up at Cropsford when Marissa came running in. Said goblins were heading our way. We barely escaped with our lives.
Yes, your wife had apprised me about your father-in-law's dream of building Cropsford. Must be someplace.
If you ask Barthel, it's the garden spot of Tamriel. See for yourself. It's just northwest of here. But watch out for the goblins. I'm through talking to you.
With tensions beginning to boil over, we continue to make our way around the circle, speaking to the bowwoman Marissa, who greets.
Well met. Come, warm yourself by our fire.
Thank you, I can't stay though. I was actually thinking about checking out Cropsford. That and the nasty goblin business you got them out of.
Follow the yellow road northwest from here. You'll see the supplies they had to abandon when the goblins attacked. Take care.
Before we evaluate the damage done to Cropsford, we speak to the last of the family members, Barthel Garnard, though not before he agitates his son-in-law once more.
What is it, Barthel?
The lowlands of the Great Forest rise to the upland plateau of the Colovian West.
Go on.
Sorry, excuse me, Barthel, if I may interrupt for a moment.
Hello, my friend. A word of advice. Watch for goblins if you're heading north.
Thank you, I appreciate your concern. I'm sorry what happened to your family regarding the goblins, and I'll be sure to be careful.
Watch out for them if you're heading north. We ran into goblin war parties northwest of here while starting to build a new settlement. My family and I are still trying to figure out what to do. We spent everything we had to buy the land and supplies, so we can hardly go back. Say, do you think you could help us? We need to get the goblins off our land so we can start building our new settlement.
Although we could simply agree to aid the ailing settlers, we decide that it's probably best that we learn more about their goblin trouble before pledging our services and say, "No, I'm sorry, I can't help right now."
Oh, that's a shame. I don't see how 3 farmers can fight a whole tribe of goblins, but I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Look, I understand. I just wanted to learn more about your new settlement before potentially heading headlong into a goblin war.
We plan to call it Cropsford. My daughter Kalia, her husband Aloys and I came all the way from High Rock to start a new life here. We have a charter from the county, everything done official and by the book. I'm sure now that they knew all along that the land was in goblin territory. But no matter, who cares if a few settlers get themselves killed?
That's terrible. Those county officials should be strung up for that. Thankfully, you had the foresight to hire a guide.
She's a wilderness guide we hired to lead our expedition to Cropsford. Saved our lives when the goblins attacked.
One last thing. Would you mind marking Cropsford on my map so I can check it out?
It's northwest of here along the Yellow Road. You'll see some of our supplies near the road where we left them when the goblins attacked. Bye.
Taking pity on the settlers, we resolved to seek out their personal utopia, being the nearby Cropsford, to assess the damage. Not before overhearing their unique banter about the locals, which makes us think perhaps Marisa will leave them to their fate at this rate.
What is it, Barthel?
Hello.
Are you well?
Fantastic. Thanks for asking.
I'm not saying Colovians are dumb. They're just hard-headed.
Hi there.
Leaving the family to their banter, we quickly realize we're burning daylight. Mounting our steed and heading northwest up the Yellow Road as instructed. However, it's not long before we crest the hill and spy through the tree line the fragmented beginnings of a settlement. Peering out over a rock, we see Cropsford has been overrun by goblins. Whatever tools and supplies the villagers had on hand have been abandoned. The settlement now only consists of a collection of timber supports and partial foundations. A sad state for the enterprising refugees who left High Rock for a better life and found themselves in the middle of a bloody goblin war. Returning to camp, we hear poor Barthel trying to bargain with his guide Marisa in an attempt to restart his dream of building Cropsford.
Greetings, Brenton.
Hi there.
What's the latest?
So what do you think? Is it safe to try to return to Cropsford?
I wouldn't recommend it, sir. You don't want to put yourselves in the middle of a goblin war.
I'm sure you're right. You saved our lives back there. I'm just not ready to give up on our dream.
Take care. Well met.
Vowing to bring the settlers' dream to fruition, we approach a seated Barthel who greets.
Hello. Go ahead, please.
I've just returned from Cropsford and it's not looking good. The area is totally overrun with goblins.
Yep, we're in a real predicament. Do you think you might be able to help us by getting rid of the goblins on our land?
Well, to be honest, I've never dealt with a goblin infestation, but yes, I will help.
I had a good feeling about you, friend. You should talk to Marisa about the goblins. She's our guide and knows what needs to be done. Take care, friend. Don't get yourself killed on our account.
The quest Goblin Trouble then begins and our journal updates. I met Barthel Ganand on the road southeast of the Imperial City. He and his family wish to build a settlement at Cropsford, but have been unable to do so thanks to marauding goblins. I should talk to Marisa about how to clear the goblins from the settlement site. Approaching the goblin hunting red guard standing guard, she questions.
Yes?
Hello there. I was sent by Barthel to remedy your goblin troubles.
You've agreed to help them clear the goblins from Cropsford? That's great news. I've done some scouting around while we've been camped here, and it looks like Cropsford is right in the middle of a goblin war. The caves around here are infested with goblins. Normally, goblins stay close to their lairs and wouldn't be a huge problem. But 2 tribes are at war, and their war parties are crossing right through Cropsford. What you'll need to do is stop the war somehow.
Right, stop a goblin war somehow. Do we even know why they're fighting? Do they even know?
Goblins have their own reasons for doing things. Don't make sense to us, usually, but I've learned a lot about their ways over the years. Each tribe guards a head in its lair. Whose head, I don't know. A sacred tribal totem or something like that. Anyway, if you want to rile up a goblin tribe, steal their tribal head, which is often what a rival tribe does, just to prove they're tougher. I'd lay odds that the war between the two tribes is because of a stolen tribal head, nor the reason for a war to go on this long. So, to stop the war, all you need to do is sneak into Timberscar Cave, find the stolen tribal head, and return it to the Cracked Wood Cave goblins. Unless you want to do things the hard way.
Wait, sneaking into Timberscar Cave and stealing a goblin totem is the easy way. What's the hard way?
Well, you could always just fight your way into Cracked Wood Cave and kill their shaman. Every goblin tribe is led by a shaman, but she mostly stays hidden in the heart of the lair, well protected. But kill the shaman, and the tribe will dissolve into confusion, most likely end the war.
Well, it doesn't sound like a picnic in either case. What can you tell me about these goblin lairs?
The two nearest are Timberscar Cave and Cracked Wood Cave. Here, I've marked them on your map. Unfortunately, Cropsford is right in between them.
Well, thanks for the info, but surely there's another way to aid Cropsford and stop this war.
Like I told you, there are only two ways to stop a goblin war. Either kill the attacking tribe's shaman, or recover the tribal head from the rival tribe, which is likely the cause of the war. Neither one sounds like a picnic to me.
Neither one sounds like a picnic to me either. Though, thanks for your help.
Good luck, and don't underestimate the goblins. They're more dangerous than they look.
As we decide the best way to handle the goblin troubles, we note in our journal, Marisa suggested two ways to deal with the goblins at Cropsford. One is to recover the totem head from the goblins in Timberscar Cave, which would stop the war between the two tribes and leave Cropsford in peace. The other way to keep the goblins away from Cropsford is to kill the shaman of Cracked Wood Cave tribe, which would effectively destroy the tribe and stop their war parties from attacking Cropsford. For now, though, we'll explore in order to kill the war shaman versus the benefits of stealing the totem, successfully aiding the settlers in rebuilding their dream town, and finally, the anarchy we can cause with the goblin's sacred staff. Riding northwest, past the goblin-infested Cropsford, on the way to Cracked Cave, we soon spy a figure looming on the yellow road. Using stealth to approach, we see a nearby troll, as well as some bloody hand skirmishers in the clear, ripe for a good snipe. Once all parties are contended with, we leave the skirmishers to rot in the undergrowth and find just to the northwest a cave opening nestled in a crevasse. Approaching Cracked Wood Cave's entrance, there is a macabre display of human skeletons, skulls, and a decomposing Dunmer's head pegged on a spike. A very real warning for interlopers with unwise intentions, as we are. Entering the cave, we begin our descent down a long, well-lit corridor. Finding to our right, the goblins have taken full advantage of the caverns as we enter a mess hall. Interestingly, the Bloody Hand boasts a robust class system, including a rat catcher for their meals and even a Bloody Hand chef to make sure the rats are somewhat palatable. Deeper in the cave system, we then find the shaman's lair with sentries lurking and begin our one-man war against the Bloody Hand. the shaman died due to their own spell, we then remember our ring of reflect. We then quickly scroll in our journal. I've killed the shaman of the Crackwood Cave goblin tribe. I need to tell Barthel Ganand. Now it's safe to begin building the settlement at Cropsford. As we take the fallen matriarch's staff of corrosion and items of her remains, we turn to approach a nearby rudimentary wooden prison pen. The Bloody Hand guards, having lost all urge to fight with their shaman dead. Inside said pen, we see corpses of their ensnared victims, and even a fresh orc captive that we can't help but feel sorry for, as he may still be alive if we had quashed the goblin war sooner. Leaving the gruesome scene, we make our way back to Crest Bridge Camp, and upon our return, a startled Marisa questions.
What?
The shaman of Crackwood Cave is dead. If you're right, the goblin war is over.
You killed the shaman of Crackwood Cave? I'm impressed. Barthel Janand will be glad to hear that. Be seeing you.
With our first, more direct deed done, let's explore the second option of stealing the goblin's totem using stealth. Heading southwest towards the Nibbin, before we can enter Timberscar Cave, the rockbiter goblins pour forth to defend their prized stolen totem. As we are advised to be stealthy, we peel off our cumbersome iron armour in lieu of lighter clothing and enter Timberscar via a rickety wooden door. Inside the cavern, we find it eerily empty bar a few straggler rockbiters, and realise the structure holds remnants of alien ruins in here, their history lost amidst the ages. In a room furthest northeast, we find an all-out brawl between the rockbiters and Bloody Hand. Close to reclaiming their prized staff. However, in the chaos, the goblin totem staff lay discarded near their fire. Long enough for us to pluck it from its resting place before our discovery, and we note in our journal, I've taken the totem from the goblins at Timberscar Cave. I should return to Marisa and ask her what to do next. Indeed, returning to the Red Guard as instructed, we pause to look at the totem staff. Boasting 20 shock damage and worth a hefty 7,760 gold, we can't help but wonder how shoving a goblin's head on a stick creates lightning. It probably requires a shaman's head, no doubt. Regardless, if we approach Marisa without the staff in hand, she questions.
Go ahead, please.
If we assure her we've stolen the staff, she still urges.
You say you took the head from the Timberscar Cave goblins? Where is it then? I'd like to just believe you, but I can't send these people back to Cropsford unless I'm sure the goblin war is over. Show me the head, so I know it is safe for the settlers to return to Cropsford. You too.
A quest would then update. I need to bring the totem head to Marisa so she can be sure that the goblin threat to Cropsford is ended. Otherwise, with staff in hand, she questions.
What do you want?
I'm back, with this hideous staff you asked for.
Amazing. You actually swiped the stolen head right out of Timberscar Cave? Ha! Those goblins won't know what to think now. You don't really need to do anything else. The Cracked Wood tribe will stop attacking Timberscar Cave once they figure out the head is gone. Of course, now that you have the head, you could create all sorts of mischief.
And seeing as this option allows us to keep the staff, this is how we learn of the chaos we can cause later with the totem after aiding the villagers, asking, "What do you mean, create mischief with the head?"
Well, for instance, you could give it to any other goblin tribe. They'd boast about it just as if they won it in a war, and pretty soon the Cracked Wood tribe would launch a war against them. I'm not sure if the Cropsford settlers would be all too pleased about you stirring up a new goblin war, though. You too.
Now, before we test the effects of said mischief, Our quest updates. Marisa said that I ended the war just by taking the head from Timber Scar Cave. I should tell Barthel Gennard that it's safe for him and his family to return to Cropsford. Doing so, the Breton inquires.
Let me know as soon as Cropsford is cleared of goblins, so we can get back to building our new settlement.
Actually, it's about the goblins.
Have you made any progress? Is it safe for us to go to Cropsford yet?
Yes, the Goblin War has ended.
You took care of the goblin menace? That's great news, my friend. Now we can get back to building our new lives at Cropsford. Please, be sure to come and visit us in a month or so. You have earned a hero's welcome. Come back in a few weeks. You may be surprised at what we can accomplish. Alois, Kalia, he's cleared the goblins from Cropsford for us. It's safe for us to build the settlement.
Kalia then thanks.
I can't thank you enough for your help. You gave us another chance at a new life. Good day.
And Alois somewhat sulks.
I guess we won't be going back to High Rock after all. Cropsford is going to be our home now, for better or worse. Goodbye.
Although we're yet to formally receive a reward, even though the quest is ended, it actually takes a little bit of detective work to find said reward by following the family as the settlers then proceed to pack up their camp and depart for Cropsford, with Marisa going her own way. Meeting the settlers at their budding town, we see the camp has been fully transplanted after a day. The villagers will then make steady progress with construction over the month until all buildings and features are complete, and we can check in on their progress at each stage. Such as at stage 2, where we find the first house is complete, the settlers will update.
What do you think, friend? We've accomplished a lot since you last saw this place. I'm happy with our progress so far. I feel better knowing that Kalia and Alois have a home again.
I'm starting to think this is going to work. Maybe Barthel wasn't crazy to bring us here after all.
What do you think about our new home? It's smaller than our old house back in High Rock, but we built it with our own hands.
Funnily enough, after the Cropsfordians have put up their first building, we can then travel up the Silverfish River to the Imperial Bridge Inn, where a happy Marisa, who now resides there full-time, will cheerily inform.
Hey, I was up at Cropsford the other day. It looks like they're really making a go of it. You did a good thing there, you know. Be seeing you.
At stage 3, the second house is finished, and the family will say,
We're almost ready to start planting crops. Cropsford is really starting to feel like home.
And finally, at stage 4, they begin to plant crops, though a sparse amount, and fencing is added. Barthel then settles in his single-story abode. Inside we find a one-room farmhouse. It's still a work in progress and contains only the usual clutter. There are 2 unlocked chests in the house offering little of interest, and Barthel awakens from his slumber to happily inform.
I hope I can help.
Just checking in to see how things are going.
I won't forget your service to our new settlement. Who knows? One day Cropsford may be a thriving town, and all because of you. Good day.
Next to the tree in the middle of town is the more sizable Binkles residence. A typical farmhouse, the sunken dining area is to the right of the front door. Upstairs, we bypass the bedroom to see the attic, which only contains clutter. Rousing a slumbering Kalia, she welcomes.
Our little farm is thriving. We couldn't have done it without your help. Come back and visit us any time. Goodbye.
Surprisingly, Alois has changed his tune on the budding town.
I like it here. I really didn't think I would, but Cropsford feels like home now. Thanks for making this possible, my friend. Goodbye.
The first bedroom upstairs contains the reward chest, as promised, for completing the Goblin Trouble quest. The chest is located on the far side of the bed in the southwest corner. Surprisingly, the chest respawns with gold every week, and a tidy amount of septims will be 10 times the character's level, plus 0 to 19 additional gold. See, as long as the totem staff is not in the Rockbiter Goblin's possession, the Goblin War is over. Furthermore, according to the wiki, the Bloody Hand goblins will still be looking for their staff and will come after you, which means we will be hunted down continuously, given that we haven't killed their shaman or their war chief. Keep in mind, they can smell the staff from a long way away and are able to jump on us anywhere, anytime, for as long as we possess the staff. These goblins have even been known to enter Oblivion gates in pursuit of their staff. Now, there is the option, if we didn't want the heat, to simply return the staff to the Bloody Hand goblins outside of Cracked-Wood Cave and end the feud entirely. Or, even at another goblin cave, to start another war. You see, although Barthel and his family seem to be making themselves at home as he impresses his trademark wisdom upon Aloys.
What is it, Barthel?
If you're on a road, you can usually outrun anything. If you're in good shape and not wearing a tin suit.
I've heard others say the same.
It seems he should have taken his own advice, as if we return the staff to the rock-biter goblins we'd originally stolen it from, putting Cropsford smack bang in the goblins' crosshairs once more, we could then sit back and watch as the war starts back up on top of the hapless farmers, who promptly leg it back to High Rock on foot. Thankfully, without armour to weigh them down, thanks to Barthel's wisdom, or any of their possessions for that matter.